Like and subscribe now, or you're gonna have bad luck this week.
Some people just have all the luck. Otherwise, some cases of people dodging death would be too unreal. Luckily, we have cameras everywhere now. If you think that being lucky isn't a superpower, then these clips will definitely change your mind. Today, we've put together the most insane moments of incredible luck ever caught on camera for you. Number 15. Bad day on the tracks. There's a reason why subway stations have those yellow tiles next to the train tracks. When you see yourself standing in yellow, it only means one thing. You're standing too close to the tracks. This guy waiting for a train at the Bay Area Rapid Transit Station in the Oakland Coliseum either didn't care about the safety measures or he just didn't see where he was standing because the problem was there was a train coming. But lucky for him, a BART employee was present who quickly pulled him away from certain death at just the right time. Honestly, if that BART employee was half a second slower, they would have had a disaster on their hands, not a harrowing close call. Number 14. Quick heroin. When you pray for luck, do you remember to ask for quick legs because you don't know when you'll need them? Take a look at this footage recorded by a dash cam of a car somewhere in Vietnam. You'll be overly surprised that someone made it out of that. A truck with no sign of blowout suddenly went off the road, claiming the damage of more than 3 cars. At first, you may not notice the woman with a baby standing right next to the white car, but when she comes out running heroically from the scene, you'd marvel at her luck. Not only did she survive the bloody happenstance, but she also escaped a violent blow. She ran swiftly from a massive hit that could have made her crippled for the rest of her life. Oh man, that was one hell of a run. Number 13. It's hard being a photographer. Amateur photographer Meki Jaidi was on vacation in the Caribbean island of St. Bartholomew when he decided to head to a plane spotting area famous for its nerve-wracking low. He saw a small aircraft approaching for a landing, and he decided to take a few photos. What he didn't realize was that the plane was flying low. Too low. So low, in fact, that the landing gear almost grazed the photographer's head. But like any professional photographer who just had a brush with death would do, he stood straight up when the plane flew by and took more photos. The whole thing was documented by another man who was testing his 360 camera and captured every hair-raising moment. Number 12. Hats off. Russian soldiers are known to cheat death on a daily basis. We're not kidding. See for yourself in this video. The soldiers stand together in a line to fire their guns in the same way as the American 21-gun salute, but most are immature. As the soldiers fire their weapon, one of them in the first row survives is blown off after the guy behind him accidentally shoots. Talk about escaping death. Number 11. Road skills. Another incredible piece of dashcam footage out of Eastern Europe has been making the rounds on the internet. This time, the footage shows quite possibly either the luckiest motorcyclist in the world or someone who had physics-defying skills making a perfect crash landing on the roof of a car he just rear-ended. The video, shot from the dash of a bystander, shows a dark-colored motorcycle appearing out of nowhere that slams violently into the rear end of a car during a lane change. You already know what happens next. Since its upload, many people have been saying that the video's fake and that physics just don't work that way. But what's important is what you think. Real or not? Number 10. Giant boulder. If you've learned anything from Indiana Jones movies, it's probably that a large boulder can appear out of nowhere. This dashcam footage shows a powerful storm with rain falling all around. Suddenly, mud and dirt suddenly start bouncing off the cliff face to the right. It engulfs the car ahead and slides to one side of the road, which, while it may seem frightening, actually proved to be the saving grace for the passengers inside. The air fills with dust, so it's impossible to see what happens next. But as it starts to clear, a giant boulder can be seen coming to rest in the middle of the road. If that car had still been where it was, it would have certainly been crushed by the weight. But luckily, it was swept to the side. Number 9. Oncoming truck. When snow falls, it can cause treacherous conditions on the road. In January 2020, a police officer was performing a routine traffic stop in Iowa when things took a horrifying turn. The officer walks to one side and calls the man over to ask him a few questions. While the man's moving across the shot, a truck on the road behind them completely loses control, skids off the surface, and slides through the snow straight toward him. It smashes into the police car, sending debris flying in all directions. The man was lucky to escape unharmed, but never revealed whether or not the cop gave him a ticket. Would you give a ticket in these conditions? Number 8. Close call with a propeller. Divers have to be extremely careful about their surroundings to make sure they avoid dangerous underwater structures and unpredictable wildlife, all while keeping watch over their oxygen levels and their depth. However, this guy wasn't all that careful. In 2014, a diver was in the water of the St. Clair River in Michigan. He was helping to remove debris from the riverbed when suddenly he sensed movement above him. To his horror, he looked up and saw a large freight ship sailing past with the propeller whirring frighteningly close to his head. Luckily, he had enough clearance to avoid it, but if the water had been a little more shallow, it would have been a completely different story. Number 7. There's a fascination around the world with some people who like to keep big cats as pets. But no matter how tame they believe them to be, the truth is, these are wild animals and will always act on instinct. In this footage from 2009, a reporter from the Daily Telegraph was visiting a private zoo to write a piece on lion ownership when he was invited to the enclosure. At first, the keeper was showing him how to dominate and control the lion by pushing it down onto the floor. The creature was clearly unhappy. It lashed out at its owner and then turned its attention to the reporter. Around him. The reporter remained calm, and after a few slaps, the lion let go. When a reporter got out of the cage, his pants were torn and he had a big. This is one experience that reporter will never forget. Number 6. Shark cage. Most people go out of their way to avoid encounters with a shark, but some brave, or should we say dumb divers get locked into a cage just so they could be closer to death. A diver survived after a great white shark and swam inside while the diver was inside. The great white shark forcefully rocked the cage around for about 20 seconds until the instructor lifted open the cage's top and it leapt out of the opening. The guy was mad lucky to survive this. Number 5. A ton of bricks. There you are, walking down the street, minding your own business, probably listening to some tunes. And then a literal ton of bricks almost hits you on the head. Now, it's not a scene from one of those old silent movies. This actually happened in the UK, and it was all caught on camera. This man narrowly escaped being crushed after strong winds caused the roof of a building to collapse onto the road. He was just walking past a cafe when 65-mile-per-hour winds literally blew off the roof of the building. Why this man was going for a walk in this weather? I don't know. What we do know is that he's a really lucky guy. Number 4. Plane to sea. Skydiving instructor Mike Robinson was at 12,000 feet, just seconds away from his 4th and final jump of the day, when a second plane carrying other skydivers sending them all tumbling toward the ground as they were forcibly thrown into the air. None of the 9 skydivers or 2 pilots sustained serious injury when the 2. Still, that must have been one traumatizing event. Number 3. Brave backflip. Most Americans are taught how to swim at a very early age, but they aren't taught how to dive. In this video, a guy was chilling by the pool when he decided that it would be a really good idea to try a backflip from the rooftop and dive into the pool. As you can see for yourself, the guy survives hitting the edge of the pool by just inches. Had he hit the surface, or lost teeth at the very least, maybe it would have been best for him to invest in a proper diving board, or maybe life insurance. Number 2. A bucket full of surprise. Working with heavy appliances always carries an inherent risk of injury. Hence, handling tons of steel requires extra care. At a construction site, one of the workers rushes to pick something up from a nearby excavator. Unknown to him, the bucket attachment isn't properly attached. Luckily, the unsuspecting worker gets out of harm's way in a split second. This situation could have had a much, much worse outcome had that man dilly-dallied. Some things we can control, but others it's just mere luck. And we should be truly grateful. Number 1. Tumbling toddler. As for the luckiest person on this list, we have this toddler. 6 postal workers were on their morning break when they heard crying overhead in Ninghai County, China. When they looked up, they saw the 2-year-old on the window. They started to discuss what to do, but moments later had to rush together as the child plummeted. Luckily, her fall was cushioned as she landed in their arms. She did slip, still managed to get up. 2 of the postal workers suffered minor injuries. CCTV captured the frightening moment, and the footage shows one of those men reeling in great. The girl had woken up in her apartment after her parents had gone out to get some medicine. The parents did say they would never leave the kid alone again, but we all know she'll get into trouble real soon. Have you ever cheated death? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.